Hello, geometry students. Today we are talking about section 1.5, day 2, which is on angle relationships. In day 1, you looked at linear pairs, you looked at vertical angles, you looked at supplementary and complementary. And in day 2, before you're watching this video, you were asked to look at vertical angles in Sketchpad. Remember that vertical angles are two non-adjacent angles that are formed by intersecting lines. And so if I have two lines that intersect, they are the ones that are non-adjacent. So adjacent means next to each other. So non-adjacent would be the ones that are across from each other. And through your sketch, you should have discovered that vertical angles are equal. So let's take a look at our examples. In exercise number 1, it asks us to find the value of y and then find the measure of angle RPT and the measure of angle TPW. And so let's take a look at our diagram. They're telling us that this angle is a right angle. Right angles are also 90 degrees. Now, you might find in your book at some point, they may just give you WV perpendicular to RS, and then you're going to have to mark that as a right angle yourself. And so if that's a right angle, these are the two lines that are intersecting, that's a right angle. This angle and this angle are vertical angles, and so they are going to be equal. So I'm going to use my angle addition postulate, which says add the two angles together. This is 90 because this angle and that angle are vertical angles. I'm going to use my angle addition postulate now to add the two angles together to get 90 degrees. And so I'm going to take my 2y plus 5 plus 4y minus 5 equals 90. And so remember, when you're doing your work in your homework, make sure you're showing your complete work. At this point, I'm going to add my like terms together. I'm going to have 6y, that's 0, equals 90. I'm going to divide by 6, y equals 15. Now they're asking me to find two different angles. I need to find the RPT, and I need to find TPW, and so I need to find one of those. I'm going to find the measure of angle TPW. TPW is right there, which is 2y plus 5. And you might be saying, well, Miss Hefty, why did you pick that one? It doesn't matter which one you do. So again, you guys need to write down the angle, and you need to show your work on that. Now, don't have those numbers floating around. The measure of angle TPW equals 2 times 15 plus 5. A lot of you, what you're doing in your homework is you're writing this down, but you're not showing what it's representing. So you need to also write that angle is equal to it. At this point, you've got the measure of angle TPW equals 30 plus 5. So the measure of angle TPW is 35. So that's one of my answers, TPW. I'm kind of running out of room here, people, so I'm just going to sneak over here. I need to find the measure of angle RPT. And that's going to be 90 subtracted 35, because that whole angle is 90. So I'm going to go 90 minus 35, and that would be my work. The measure of angle RPT equals 90 minus 35 is 55. So I need to box that answer in. Okay, let's move on to our second example. Let's see here. I'm missing one. Here's example number 2. Find the value of x and find the measure of angle CBA. So I'm going to take a look at my picture and find CBA, because I'm going to need to find that angle. And first I'm going to have to find the value of x. Value of x. Some years when students are doing these problems, they'll look and they'll think about setting those two equal because they think they're vertical angles. Those are not vertical angles. Remember, vertical angles are created by two intersecting lines. This line here is not creating the angle up here. That angle is being created by this line and this line, and you don't have this angle here. So if you were thinking set those two green dots equal, the 3x plus 18 and the 5x plus 10, that's incorrect. So we need to be looking at another way to solve this problem. We need to write an equation to find the value of x. This angle here and this angle here form a straight line. They are a linear pair, and linear pairs, when they form a straight line, they equal 180 degrees.
Mr. Craig, please go to the Global Conference Room at this time.
So let's take a look here. So I'm going to add those two angles, those two right angles, 7x plus 20 plus 5x plus 10, and I'm going to equal it to 180 degrees. So I need to show all my details here, people. I'm going to add my like terms together. I get 12x plus 30 equals 180. I'm going to move my 30. 12x equals 150. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to divide by 12. So my x equals 12 and a half, or 12 and 5/10. And some students have been asking, can I write that as a decimal? Can it be a fraction? When do I do what? If it is a terminating decimal, then it can be written as a decimal. If you have something like 3.3 repeating, that's really 3 1/3. So we're not going to be doing any rounding unless it says in the book you need to round to the tenths or something. So if you get a repeating decimal, you really need to write it as a fraction. So they asked me to find the value of x, so I'm going to box that answer in. They're also asking me to find the measure of CBA. So now I need to find the measure of CBA, the measure of angle CBA. CBA is 3x plus 18. Also, I need to talk about working down the paper. Work down, not across on your paper. So again, don't have those numbers floating out there. You need to write the measure of angle CBA equals, you're going to take 3 times 12 and a half. I got that last answer in my head, 12 and a half, and then plus 18. So now go ahead and multiply 12 and a half times 3, the measure of angle CBA, equals, I'm getting 37.5 plus 18. Add those together. The measure of angle CBA equals 55.5. And box that answer in. All right, let's take a look at our example number 3. It says find the value of x, then determine if AB and CD are perpendicular. Remember, this symbol represents perpendicular. Now, I don't know that I have a right angle. They're asking me to find if you have a right angle. So I need to look and see here if I have a right angle. So I've got AB here and CD here. So I'm trying to decide if I have a right angle anywhere. And so do you guys see right here I have two angles? Excuse me. Those two angles, I need to decide if that equals 90. That's really what I want to figure out, because, or I could figure this one out, but there's nothing there. Or I could figure this out, but I only have one angle. You with me on this? So I need to find x first, and then I need to decide if I have a 90-degree angle. Let's make this problem, it doesn't have a point here, let's call this E, and we don't have a point here, let's call this F. Not enough information there. All right, so to find x first, they have these two angles marked congruent. I wish that we didn't have those already marked, because we should know that without having those marked. Those are vertical angles. You see how the line here and that line there crosses each other, they intersect, and then the angles across from each other are called vertical angles, and vertical angles are equal. So I'm going to set those two equal. 2x plus 15 equals 3x minus 12. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do my algebra. I'm going to get my x's together and my y's together. So I'm going to move my 2x. I'm going to get an x. I'm going to add my 12. I'm going to get 27. So my x is 27. So my next thing I need to decide is if this angle here is 90 degrees. So I need to check out the measure of angle CEB is what I'm doing right now. And that's going to be the x minus 5 plus 3x minus 12. Do people see that I'm adding these two together here? And now I'm going to go ahead and put 27 in. Again, don't have those numbers floating. You need to communicate what you're doing. That's the measure of angle CEB. I'm going to take 27. This is one angle and this is your second angle. So I should put parentheses around those. 27 minus 5, and then plus 3 times 27 minus 12. Do you guys want parentheses around that? There we go. All right, so now let's go ahead and find the measure of angle CEB. I'm going to take 27 minus 5, it's going to get me 22, plus I'm going to take 3 times 27, which is 81, and then I'm going to subtract 12, which gives me 69. So now I'm going to add those two together. My measure of angle CEB, that gives me 91. I was hoping it was going to be 90 so that those were going to be perpendicular. So people, this is not really the answer. I need to answer this question. Determine if AB and CD are perpendicular. I don't have a right angle, so they're not perpendicular. So now I need to communicate that in writing. So I'm going to write it over here because I'm running out of room. Again, you guys should be working down. Notice how I've worked down here, not across. So what I'm going to write now is the measure of angle CEB equals 91 degrees. Therefore, AB is not perpendicular to CD. This would be my answer. Writing 91 would not be a complete answer, would not get you full credit. You need to communicate. And just writing AB is not perpendicular to CD would not be full credit either. You need to justify your answer. So we need to continue to work on showing all our work, showing complete work. Don't have those numbers floating around out there, but communicate what those numbers represent. So you guys have a great night, and I will see you in class tomorrow.